Tetris Effect Connected is about to be released on the PlayStation 5 with compatibility for PS VR2 on February 22nd, 2023. On the same day, the game will welcome endless new features for free on all existing platforms. And no, that's not just a figure of speech. There are actually many brand new endless single-player modes being added, along with a really important new feature to Classic Score Attack, a helpful new UI mode, and the addition of new VR features. Along the way, I'll be talking to several Tetris experts to go over the significance of these new features and how it could shake up the meta of high-level Tetris gameplay going forward. And a big thank you to Enhance for giving me access to try out the beta of this new release and for sponsoring this video. So, let's get started. Classic Score Attack is one of the most popular modes in Tetris Effect Connected, and is modeled to be exactly the same as matches in the Classic Tetris World Championships and provide an easy way to play Classic Tetris matches with other players from all around the world. But there was one crucial aspect that previously only existed as a workaround: the ability to play by yourself. Because Classic Score Attack is all about getting the higher score and doesn't have direct attacks that send garbage to the opponent, the old way of practicing solo was to fire up a local match against another player or AI, and then just ignore the opponent's game while focusing on your own. While this technically worked, it meant that you couldn't get a verifiable high score on Classic Score Attack because both players get the same Tetramino piece sets. So you could theoretically have a friend strategically speedrunning on the other side and getting far ahead in the Tetramino sequence, so you know in advance what Tetraminos and Tetramino droughts are coming up. And since you're only supposed to have a one-piece preview, this would be an unfair advantage. But now in the new update, if you go into Effect Modes, there's a solo Classic Score Attack option where you can select either to play in NTSC, the version used in the World Championships, or PAL, the version used in the European Championships. This is finally a true one-player mode that removes the clutter of having another game on the screen and also allows you to submit your high score to an official leaderboard, so you can see how you rank against the best in the world. The one-player mode also pairs perfectly with the new flexible aspect ratio of the game called Tate mode, which allows you to turn the playfield 90 degrees to play vertically on one-player modes and really take advantage of all the screen real estate on the Nintendo Switch. So what other modes are affected by this? There's also the new Endless option in Master mode, to which I turned to a Tetris expert to find out more.
Hi, my name is Yoshimi. My pronouns are she, her, and I've been a part of the Tetris Effect community since the release on the Epic Games Store in 2019.
Yoshimi explained to me that the goal of Master Mode is to clear 300 lines. Every 10 lines, the speed increases, creating 30 difficulty levels known as M1 to M30. But the speed isn't measured by how fast it takes Tetraminos to drop, since by default, Tetraminos instantly land on top of the stack. So what does speed mean in this mode?
The main thing that makes Master Mode difficult is the amount of time you have before the piece locks. So whenever you spawn the piece, the game looks at like, okay, how long has it been since the last time you moved the piece? At higher master levels, that amount of time you have decreases like pretty significantly. On M29, the time you have is 110 milliseconds. So that's like almost a tenth of a second. And M30 is 92 milliseconds, so just under a tenth of a second. So if you've seen like high level master play, you see a lot of the times like they'll like start wiggling their pieces around while they're still thinking a little bit. You have to do that to think, or your piece just locks. It'll just ruin your stack if you have it in the wrong spot.
Not only had Yoshimi completed Master Mode in its entirety, she is one of only a handful of players on the current leaderboard to have done it with the maximum possible 303 lines, which requires setting up a Tetris line clear at the end and getting it while at 299 lines on M30 speed. Since the length of the mode had a hard cap on it, this led some of the top players to attempt a more ambitious challenge, trying to complete the run with a higher starting speed.
I have cleared the mode starting from M29 speed. So that meant I had to play 290 lines of M29 speed and then an extra 10 on the end of M30.
So have you gotten to play around then with the endless modes that they've added to this new beta?
Yeah, I have. I think it's really cool because getting a super high master line count now becomes like an endurance on M30, like the fastest speed.
Essentially, it's giving top players a chance to combine the achievements of completing master mode and getting as far as they can at top speeds.
I imagine like the lines leaderboard is going to be like a kind of tap off, and then there's going to be like a couple people who are way above. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see like how far those people can last.
And it certainly seems like Yoshimi will be on the forefront of pushing those limits, as she sent me a video of her playing on the beta version of the update and getting 330 lines in the master mode. The new Endless feature also extends to Purify mode, for which I turned to another Tetris expert.
I'm Blink. I'm from the Hard Drop Tetris community. I'm the founder of that community back in 2009. I think I've been playing competitively since 2001-ish, so it's been over 20 years.
So what is Purify mode in Tetris Effect Connected?
Yeah, so Purify mode, that's one of the single player modes on Tetris Effect Connected. Basically, it's a 3-minute timed mode where you try to clear as many infected blocks from your screen as possible, with the infected blocks showing up as purple blocks on the screen.
Blink explained that there are many different ways to clear the infected blocks, such as clearing lines they're on directly and just clearing lines in general. But you get a bonus for advanced moves like T-spins, and the biggest bonus from doing large combos. You also get a bonus if you clear all the infected blocks on screen before the timer on the side runs out.
Purify is one of my favorite single player modes of all time when it comes to Tetris. I used to hold the world record for Purify mode for, I feel like it was like a year. This is not measured or anything, but I think I've put in the most hours on Purify of any player in the world, probably. It's one of those modes that I can always come back to, I don't get bored of.
How does the new Endless mode in Tetris Effect Connected change the meta for Purify?
Yeah, I got to try out Endless mode for a little bit. I only see positive things because this is one of those modes that I put in a lot of hours, because sort of when you're playing, you kind of get into a trance of you're just down stacking, you get into that zone. So with Endless mode, it lets you extend that, so you're not restarting the round every 3 minutes or anything like that. You can just play, relax, and enjoy it for hours if you want to. I think it also opens up the ability to change like what the goal is. So it's no longer how much are you scoring in 3 minutes. You can make it, let's see how fast we can score 3,000 infected points, or how fast we can score 5,000. It kind of opens the door for speedrunning even. You can now speedrun that mode first to 5,000 points. It would be really cool to see something like this in GDQ or any other speedrunning events, I think.
In addition, there's also been the expansion of the use of Tetris Effect's unique zone mechanic, where you build a zone meter and then pause the time to clear as many lines as possible before the zone runs out, and all the lines get cleared at once. Originally, it was only featured in Journey mode and Zone Battle, but now it's been added to Marathon mode as well. To talk more about it, I turned back to Yoshimi, who has a pretty startling Tetris career achievement when it comes to getting curbtresses, an extra difficult type of line clear while in the zone where you fill up the entire playfield plus an extra row on top.
I've actually cleared over 1,000 curbtresses over the course of like 2-3 years, something like that. And I recorded them all, so I have this like gigantic database now, and I have no idea what to do with it, but I have it.
So what are Yoshimi's thoughts on Zone Marathon mode?
I think this mode is like interesting comparing it to the normal marathon mode, because it kind of like breaks the rigid structure that's kind of set up in normal Tetris stacking. Because in the normal marathon mode, the best strategy is actually what we call pattern stacking, which means you continuously build the same pattern over and over again. So T-spins are the most efficient to clear, so you want to get as many T-spins as you can. But what Zone does is it really disrupts that, because the strategy for Zone Marathon is actually that you want to do all quarter zones. So you can do like as many zones as possible. You only have 5 seconds, so you got to be as fast as you can. And doing T-spins, like during that, is going to slow you down.
Yoshimi anticipates that the meta for Zone Marathon will break up the monotony of going for nothing but T-spins by throwing in the challenge of also improvising the biggest zone clears possible, which requires different stacking.
I think there's going to be a big push for people to get really quick at solving high zones, actually. You want to still get like 20 line clears in just 5 seconds. And so there's going to be like a lot of speed solving, which I think is really cool.
Finally, the PS VR2 release will also include a unique feature that isn't available on other VR platforms, where you can actually enable eye tracking to enter the zone by closing and opening your eyes. There's also a bunch of additional technical features added to the PS5 release, such as enhanced haptic feedback for DualSense, PS VR2 Sense controllers, and the PS VR2 headset itself, in addition to 4K support. So be sure to check out the links in the description if you want to get Tetris Effect Connected for any of the available multiple platforms. The game has expanded so much since its original release in 2018 that it's really now a comprehensive experience of all the different things you can do in Tetris nowadays. There's single-player journey, sprint and marathon modes, tons of unique challenges, customizable online and local matches and arenas, and a way to practice and play classic Tetris without having to get all the retro gaming equipment. And be sure to check out the enhanced Discord server for any further questions or ways to get more involved with the Tetris Effect Connected community. Thanks for watching.